Welcome, my Edgy Entrepreneurs. We are on Edge TV Radio Network. I'm your host, Jenn Colmenares, and you are watching the Edgy Entrepreneur Show. I believe that the real work in the journey of entrepreneurship is to understand that your superpower comes from your alignment with your personality and the unique gifts that you have to give to this world, and using them is the real reason why you are here on this planet to serve. So I invite you to lean into this episode to become more inspired and connected to the beautiful world around us and learn how to unleash your superpowers on this world. You guys, it's February. I'm just going to deem this self-care month and call it what it is. So today, my guest again is Oscar Hines, the man, the myth, the legend, author and speaker, and the magic really behind Edge Radio.
Well,
and
it's all done with mirrors. That's what I've been told. But I love your introduction because that really sort of frames it so nicely that we all have a superpower, and we have to share that.
Yes.
We have to share it.
Yes.
It's such an enduring lesson. This sounds a little downer, but there is a silver lining to the message. But I had a dear friend, loved her, and unfortunately she had terminal cancer. Well, I came to visit her, and she was swollen and just looked, and I loved her, and she says to me, "I'm looking at you, and I need to tell you this. You have so many gifts that you haven't shared with the world.
Oh.
You cannot go on any further and not share those gifts."
Yeah.
And she was looking through me. I mean, there's something about when someone is on their deathbed that their level of clarity, and she told me this, it's at a psychic. She's at a psychic level. She can read your mind. She can read your thoughts. She can read your intentions. She said every person that walked in that room, she could read. And some of them were thinking in their mind, "I'm glad it's her and not me." And she saw it. She felt it. But what she said to me, because I was just full of love for her, was so powerful that I walked away from that with a new resolve. Mm-hmm. That you live full and you die empty.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
If you still got stuff in you guys when you die, well, man, you missed the real part of the journey.
Yes. It's not a destination. I mean, that's absolutely, it's a journey. Yeah. The life is lived in the dash.
Yes. Exactly.
So you're born and then you expire.
That's right.
And you don't get to take any of it with you.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to dig in a little bit today since it's Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
and
I should be wearing my red.
Keep having it's not Valentine's Day, it's Valentine's month. There's so much that goes on in February. To me, it's all about love.
Yeah, it's all about love. Absolutely, it's all about love.
But I really wanted to talk about happiness and our pursuit to happiness, and not letting other people stand in our way to that pursuit of happiness. Because there's so many times that we want that, I guess, that understanding and that assurance from others outside of us that we're on the right path, that, hey, I have this great idea. Let's go do this. How does this sound for you? And in that, our dreams and desires tend to get muddled.
Exactly.
It's not always that those that are supposed to be our biggest fans and our biggest supporters are our biggest supporters.
That's right.
So
Yeah. No,
It's
sometimes teachers come in very strange and unusual packages.
yes.
And we have to be open to who is there to teach us. You know, the universe can send you someone that doesn't look like what you thought.
That's so true. That is so true.
And you're like, what? What just happened here?
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, and it's funny because I think when people sort of have a set expectation, and this is how it's supposed to be and what it's gonna be and what I'm gonna make it and what it's gonna do and what it has to be.
Yes.
When you have all of those different layers, and you know, my suggestion to anybody who's dealing with this, you know, you can call it control issues, you can call it whatever you want, but what it's got to be like this way and that way and so on. When you start peeling back those layers of what it has to be and what I want it to be and what it is and what it isn't, as you peel that back just like an onion, what's really left is more and more room. The tear-evincing rest of it is nothing more than a product of ego.
Right.
And so people that are grounded in this control need to really release it, because it's almost like when you release control, that's when the great stuff starts to happen. But the scary part is letting go of the wheel.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And how to do that. How to do that, I guess, on your own, without having to seek approval from anyone outside, you know. And I guess that's really, it leads back to what the Edgy Entrepreneur is about, and understanding that alignment and that connection with who you are at your core.
Yes.
So that when you do have these opportunities and when you do meet these walking angels that are here, that you're open and you're aware and you can receive that gift. Exactly. And receiving it is like really critical, because so many times we're like, nope, I don't want that, you know. And at the end of the day, it's like if you're the universe or God or your higher power is sending you things, you have to say yes in order to get the benefit from it. You know, right. Some say no guts, no glory, right? But you got to be willing to say yes. And in some cases, you got to say yes when you're scared shitless. You still got to say yes. Just rip the Band-Aid, pull the ripcord,
and go.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Because at some level, and that's the thing about entrepreneurship, is that at some level, the reason that everybody isn't an entrepreneur is because it hurts.
What?
It ain't no fun.
It hurts?
Yeah, no, you don't get to ride around in your fancy car just hanging out, you know, sitting on the Riviera. No, you get up at 5 a.m. You do yoga and crunches and hope that the meetings you set yesterday show up today so you can pay the bills. That's what you do.
Yes.
And anybody that thinks it's romantic or fun or glamorous, get a grip, hold on tight, don't let go.
Yeah, and that is, hold on tight and don't let go. But I guess that is the glamorous. I mean, I'm a 7 on the Enneagram scale.
I think you're more like a 9.
Okay,
Well, wait a minute. We're talking about. Wait a minute. Wait.
I was talking personality.
You're talking about. Okay. Back to what you were saying. Okay, go ahead. Hey, look, a little shameless flirting never hurt anyone.
I appreciate it. I received. Thank you. But it's 7, and so I'm all about the fun and finding the fun. But in that, I like the new adventures.
Yes.
Does it mean that they get easier? Does it mean that they get less scary? No. And I guess I can equate it to like the roller coaster at the amusement park. I'm like, do you ever get used to standing in that line and feeling that pressure as you get closer and closer and closer for it being your turn to jump into that cart and be strapped in for this ride that you're fixing to tick, 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 tick up, and then just hang on and zoom. And being prepared, though. I mean, that's the whole time you think about it. The whole time you're in that line, you're looking at the track that the cart's fixing to take. You're looking at that track that you're fixing, the route that you're fixing to take, and the twists and the turns, and you're visualizing that. you're watching the people that are coming off. You're seeing how they've reacted to that. And you're taking that into account and you're pep talking yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, you're building yourself up.
That's
you're
right.
telling yourself that you can do this and that you're amazing and you got this and you're not going to die and that those people made it. You can do it too.
Yeah. Exactly. But that internal dialogue is so much more healthy than the one that we come here programmed with. Because the one we come here programmed with, unfortunately, is full of no's,
right.
And it's full of I'm not worthies, and I'm not smart enough. I'm not going to do this. I can't.
Right.
And if we let that dialogue overpower us, then it lulls us into inability. And what you're saying about this pep talk is so critical because, folks, you've got to be your number one fan. If you are not your number one fan, then something's wrong. Anytime I've ever, and I've had the privilege over the years in the radio space of meeting amazing people.
Yes.
And some of whom were rich, some of whom were very rich. In my paradigm, I had these great leather chairs in my office, and I used to say $1 billion worth of butts have sat down in those chairs. But one thing that was consistent amongst all those people is an inherent fundamental belief in their selves and their ability to get it done.
Yes. And not even that belief, maybe. Like, it doesn't necessarily just start out with that belief. I think that's something that's where your daily practice comes in. That's where your daily rituals come in, is that when you can get out of bed and do those hard things in the morning that you don't necessarily enjoy, you can conquer anything.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's really kind of where the magic is. I think people don't understand that is it. Like, that is the pursuit to your happiness. Your next level happiness is just on the other side of you doing those things that you don't want to do.
Exactly. And they're painful, they're not fun, but they're necessary. And you see the benefits. Yes. I got back in the gym, I started doing crunches. I got up, I was like, wait a minute, ow, what was that? I was like, wait a minute.
There. I do remember those.
Exactly. This Pillsbury Doughboy thing's not going to work yet.
No.
So, but it hurts, and it's the metaphor for life. A lot of times we got to get up and apply the discipline, and once we get up and apply the discipline, and we get to the other side of that discipline, you go through the pain, but then there's purpose behind it. There's energy behind it. There's
your superpower.
Yeah. Your self-sufficiency starts to resonate,
yes.
at that level. So I love that conversation. I mean, I think when you're talking about the pursuit of happiness, which is our topic today, you really, really have to frame how you stay happy when you're making the sacrifices and doing the stuff that ain't no fun.
Right.
How do you stay happy? So, folks, we're gonna leave you with that question, and when we come back, let's dive a little bit deeper into this pursuit of happiness and how we stay happy through the journey.
Yes, absolutely.
So you're listening to Edge Radio. We'll be back in just a moment.
Don't push me because I'm close to the edge.
I'm trying not to lose my head.
Hey, this is the Talk About Unity show where I bring the talk.
And I bring the unity.
And together we talk about unity. Unity is what matters.
Come on.
And right now in our country, that's what we've got to do. So we do that here at Talk About Unity on the Edge Radio Network. Be with us every week.
It's going to be awesome. It always is. And I tell you what, the more we seek first to understand, then be understood, we make progress.
And we like to do that. And that's why everybody's on the brink. We love what we do at Edge Radio because everybody's on the edge. We bring them back from the edge and we bring the unity. So we're just glad to Edge Radio Network every Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. Talk About Unity because here at Edge Radio Network, truth still matters.
Aren't you tired of not getting what you want in bed?
Are you ready to spice things up behind those closed doors?
Woo! We're here for you every hump day at 7 p.m.
This is Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen. I'm Jennifer Reeves.
And I'm Hendrik Scott, and we are professional licensed sex therapists.
So remember to watch us Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Edge Radio TV, just in time for sexy time.
Welcome back, my edgy entrepreneurs. You're watching the Edgy Entrepreneur Show. This is my guest, Oscar, and you are joining us on the Edge Radio Network TV station. We are talking about our personal pursuits to happiness and not letting others stand in our way of that, and really what it looks like, what that journey looks like.
Yes, I think a great place to really delve in as an individual is to define what happiness really means.
It's interesting that you have that, because I do have the definitions right here in front of me, because I was curious.
Yeah, how absolutely appropriate that is.
Right?
So how do we define this thing, this elusive thing?
So it's interesting because there's such a broad spectrum on what is happiness. So the experts are defining happiness as the subjective well-being. So the subjective well-being is simply asking people, and this is how they figured this out, is they simply asked people how satisfied they feel with their lives, how much positivity and negativity emotions they're experiencing.
Okay.
So that is the definition of happiness. My definition, I would say, is the experience. It's the experience of that feeling of the joy and the contentment and the positivity, well-being, combined with the sense that my life is connected to something bigger. And there's a bigger purpose that I'm here for, that there's a worthwhileness to this trip around the sun.
Yes.
So what is your definition of happiness?
I like the idea of being in flow.
Yes.
I mean, to me, flow is kind of like bliss. And the way that I define that, it takes on different forms. But for me, movement has always been really important. So I've always been like a really great rollerblader, and I dance on wheels, and I'm a salsa dancer, and I love motorcycles and being able to wind and twist through back roads. So balance and movement and dance and energy makes me feel like I'm in that flow state. And when you get in that flow state, it's like blissful, because you really realize that time, this thing we call time,
right?
That's an illusion.
Yes.
That is an illusion. And it sounds all spacey until you think about it this way. And I would say this to you folks who thinks that that's an illusion. All right. So if you spend time in flow, it seems like it goes by in a second sometimes. Other times, it seems like it's just going on and on and on, and you lose perspective of time.
Yes.
Whenever time escapes you, and you're in that flow, you're in a genuine place of happiness in those moments. And so for me, that's how I define it. I love the idea of movement and flow and connectivity. Laughter is also really like those moments where you're just laughing hysterically, especially with somebody you care about, and you see how it shifts their entire mood and their mindset. Oh my gosh, that's happiness.
Yes.
That's happiness.
That is. I'm like, and we had family night last night, and we played Jenga. This was the longest game of Jenga that I have ever played, y'all. But it was so fun. I mean, we're at the table. We start out at the table, and then as the tower starts going up, we all start backing up because we didn't want our energy even. But they were laughing at me. They're like, okay, mom's got the chi. It's mom's chi. She's going to move the bricks. And I did not tumble it, just so you know. It was not me.
You did do it.
But it was just that happiness, that joyous, that being around people that you love, doing something that is fun and enjoyable.
Yes.
I think sometimes self-care gets so commercialized that we look at it, self-care, I got to get my nails done. It's self-care. I do self-care. I get my nails done. I get my hair done. I do this. I do that. But that's really not what self-care. I mean, that is a part of it, because it does make you feel good when you do those things for yourself and when you take time out of your day to put yourself first. But ultimately, that's what it is, taking time out of your day to put yourself first.
Exactly.
That is self-care at the ultimate. That really is where you learn to tap into your superpower and to get in the flow.
Yes. And see, the thing too is because we all have different gifts, different superpowers, we have to align ourselves to get into the mindset to be able to offer that gift. I know when I was a single parent with young children, raising them was taxing. And by myself for the most part. And I know whenever I had a chance to go have adult time and to be able to not think about and worry about, what kids are doing right now, I came back and I was
actually adult.
Yeah, like I don't have to make peanut butter sandwiches right now.
Like, what a concept! I'm not wearing peanut butter.
That's right, exactly. And but so for me, when I got that, I realized I came back to being a parent, and I was stronger, better, wittier, more patient, more loving, everything.
Yes.
And so that became a necessity. And I told my ex, listen, this notion that you can just see him when you want, how you want, that's ended now.
Right.
First, third, and fifth.
Yeah.
Or else.
Right.
But that was a game changer, because then I was able to start balancing my life again. Yes. And I think when you look at your endeavor as an entrepreneur, you have to have a work-life balance to some degree. Doesn't mean that you're not putting pedal to the metal and steel to the wheel when it comes to driving your business.
Right.
But you also have to take that self-care time that you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't, you start to suffocate, and you don't want to suffocate. You need to keep giving yourself enough oxygen so you can get to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing until you get to the other side. And then one day you'll look back and you'll go, wow, I just traveled through that mucky mire and I just took a shower.
And then you look back and go, I really thought that was so hard. And you look back and you're like, man, now I see that huge blessing that really was, that hardship, that moment, that, bottom, can't drag myself up, doing everything that you can just to pick yourself up by the bootstraps and move forward that day. Yeah. Those are the days that you look back and you're like, man, I get it. Thank you.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Exactly. If you really can push to what I would call the more evolved state, when you're in those moments, you're saying thank you.
Yes.
When you're there.
Yes.
And the crap is coming from every direction and you're still going, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking to someone just yesterday. They said, what, and you know, they're from a different country, so they use unusual analogies sometimes. What happens when your feet are dangling right at the edge? What happens when you don't have, you're reacting to so many things, you don't have the ability to even think of what you're going to do next? Well, that's still, take 5 minutes, even in the midst of that, to just say thank you, thank you, thank you. The fact that you're still alive, and that's what I tell people, the fact that you're still a living, breathing, carbon-based life form means that you have the ability to go on, to push through, and to get to the next thing.
Yes.
Because it's not going to be easy. It's never going to be easy, but still. And I hope, it sounds like we're being very pessimistic here. But
no, I don't think so at all.
Yeah.
No,
but it's a tinge of realism here.
It is. And I think, what is Oprah? She was given a speech and she talks about her transition when she really started to make this kind of money. You know, she still had that mentality of, I want people to like me. I want people to like me. So I'm gonna buy pizza for the class, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna do that. And she really had to get to the point that self-care was her priority.
Yes.
And I love what she says about self-care, and her journey there was that she was afraid that in that journey to self-love, that people would think that she was selfish. And she's okay with that, because the selfish part is that she's filling her cup so that she can overflow onto this world.
Exactly.
So the more that she is self-loving and self-caring and knowing her value and her self-worth, the more she is pouring into this world.
Exactly. I mean, and that's really the realization. When you say no to things, you're saying yes to yourself, and having that balance, and not over committing or overextending ourselves as well, because there's so many rabbit holes and bunny trails and all these things that are landmines, I mean, all around us. And it's so easy to fall into one of those shiny objects, boom, and then all of a sudden now we're limping back to where we were before, because we got all diverted on some stuff that didn't matter.
Yes.
So I think like one of the poignant moments when you bring up Oprah that I remember, she was talking about when she got, she wanted to get in the color purple.
Yes.
She wanted to get the Harpo, character.
Yes.
And she said that when she didn't get it, she didn't hear from them. She was overweight. She was off on some retreat somewhere in the middle of somewhere in middle America. She's on some fat farm, literally, like literally a fat farm. And she's running around the track, and it's raining, and she's all frustrated. And then she's breathing, crying, and her phone rings. And it's Steven Spielberg saying, "You got the part." And she was like blown away by that, because what she finally learned was that in order to get the thing she wanted most, she had to let go of the attachment to that thing.
Yes.
And that was hard for her, because she wanted it, and she was already a millionaire. She was already, but she was still playing a small game.
Yeah.
And after the color purple, she opened up Harpo Productions. She started to build towards her network, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
So sometimes letting go is just as important as focusing on what you want. Just wanting it and then letting go with the intentionality that it's already yours. So that's it.
And that's the hard part, is really understanding what you want and going after it, but not being attached to the outcome.
Yeah. That's hard.
That's yeah. That's
hard.
a day. That's a minute by minute practice.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes. I mean, really, you kind of have to even break it down that small at moments.
It is because it's a truth that bites its own tail. It's a paradox. It doesn't make sense to a logical mind to say, okay, this is my deepest wish. So we were having a conversation about singleness with a few people, and some of the folks were like, oh, I want this, I know the exact man I want, or I know the exact woman I want, and I don't know why I can't get them. I don't know why they can't come to me. I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, well,
let's have a conversation here.
Yeah, maybe it starts with this idea that, okay, you get clear on what you want, and then you let go of the outcome.
Yes.
And then next thing you know, you're in the cottage cheese section, and someone says, "Can you pass the one with chives?"
Yes, absolutely.
I love chives. Let's have dinner.
So on that note, we will be back after this short break, and we'll continue on just the pursuit of what your next level happiness looks like and really how to find that.
We work our whole lives to support our families. With one accident or illness, it can all be gone in an instant. Now there's a smart, affordable way to protect your family. Go to findhealthbenefits.com and discover low-cost life insurance for as little as $2 per month. Add to that a tax-deferred annuity that can help you protect your assets and grow your money for retirement. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. A critical illness can strike without warning and wipe out your life savings. In fact, it's the #1 reason for bankruptcy. Find Health Benefits offers an affordable solution. Get up to $50,000 if you get cancer, stroke, or a heart attack, giving you the peace of mind to focus on getting better while the plan helps you to pay your bills and medical expenses. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. 66% of seniors spend more time shopping for cable TV than Medicare plans. Most say because it's just too confusing. Laws change every year. The wrong plan could cost you thousands and prevent you from seeing the doctors you want. Introducing FindHealthBenefits.com. Save time, save money, see specialists without referrals. Go to FindHealthBenefits.com or call 877-235-6094 for this informative brochure.
Society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
Are you a small business owner concerned about the downturn in the economy? Top business leaders like Mattress Mac and Warren Buffett will tell you that now is the time to promote your business more than ever. People need your services. Your business needs an edge. Learn about special advertising packages for small businesses right here on Edge Radio. Find out more, give us a call at 281-744-0446. That's 281-744-0446. Edge, because truth still matters.
Hi, my edgy entrepreneurs. Welcome back. Welcome back. My name is Jenn Colmenares. You are joining us on Edge Radio TV Network. And my guest is Oscar Hines today.
Yeah.
We are talking about your pursuit to happiness and next level happiness and what that looks like.
Yes.
And how you shouldn't listen to those Debbie Downers that are around in this world.
Yeah. Well, these are what we might call the succubus.
Karens. The Karens.
The
as my girls would
the
say.
Karens,
Okay, I
yeah,
love you,
that's
Karens,
a
but
good. There are definitely some Karens, but the succubus is a mythical figure that is just like the mermaids were considered a succubus, right? They look so beautiful and so alluring, and they would just summon you. But what they were summoning you to was the edge of the waterfall, where you fell into the abyss. And so many people that see your pursuit as an entrepreneur, that sees your dream and sees your idea, you've got to decide if you have a synergistic relationship or a parasitic relationship. And as soon as you start hearing parasitic based thoughts, you've got to cut them off. You've got to shut them down. You've got to say, get behind me, Satan. Because if you don't, those seeds will germinate and it'll lead to inactivity and fear and doubt. And then all of a sudden, nothing happens in your life.
Well, you get scared. I mean, I think you know those people, that is your world. And so you let them thinking that you're not good enough on your own.
Yeah.
So a lot of it still comes back to, yes, don't listen to them. Don't listen to the negative Nellies in your life. But yourself, like plugging in again, getting that alignment so that you can have that, so you can go out into the world armed.
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
So you can own your superpower.
Exactly. You know, a lot of people, and this is commonly said, but it's still worth saying over and over again, that the Debbie Downers, the succubuses, the parasites, the energy vampires, if you will, they exist in many forms, but the form that is most common are the people closest to you.
The lady next to you on the treadmill.
Yeah. Or the person next to you in your bed.
Yep.
And that's a real thing. I mean, there are husbands, for an example, that are totally intimidated by a wife who has dreams and aspirations.
Yes.
In my second marriage, my ex-wife always worked a 9-to-5, didn't have a clue what entrepreneurship was. And every single endeavor I made, inroads I made, it was an attack. It was like a outright, how could you, why would you? I'm investing money so we can get a return of X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And she was still, literally, I remember I made a $500 investment in some raw material product. And she was so pissed off at that. I said, do you understand that within about 2 months, we'll turn this into $5,000? She was like, oh, it's not going to happen, blah, blah, blah. And it happened. Wow. I got the product. I bottled it. I packaged it. We started sending it out. Boom. I showed her, I think it was like, $4,930. And she said, I thought you said 5,000. I said, Parafangu. What are we talking about? I mean, I gave her the Italian salute.
Right.
But it doesn't matter when you have somebody who's afraid, who's fear-based.
Yes.
There's always going to be the undertone of you can't, you shouldn't, you better not, you better look out for. Yeah. And all those things, as well-meaning as they are, you've got to put those behind you and put blinders on to what you want. Otherwise, you'll never get there.
Right. And I think that even ties back into a lack. Like you've got to just believe. You've got to believe in yourself and just do it. The lack mentality it's going to kill you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to strangle your happiness.
Exactly.
And keep you from taking any actions. And that's a hard one, especially now. Yeah. I mean, in this economy and COVID and I was having this conversation yesterday with some girls talking about self-care and what is self-care. And one of the ladies was like, oh, I love nice things and, nice purses and Bath and Body Works, but then I never use them. Like I buy them, I like them, but then I never use them. And I think that kind of goes hand in hand. What you were saying about your ex-wife is it's a flow. Like you've got to give, you've got to use, you've got to put it back out so that you can get it back.
Absolutely.
And that goes with self-care. That goes with that time that you invest in that self-care.
Well, I don't know if anyone else can relate to this because maybe it was a Costa Rican thing or whatever. My mother had a china cabinet. And boy, in that china cabinet, anytime a fine gift came in, a beautiful glass, a cup, a little statue or figurine, it went in that china cabinet. It is now sacred. This is the sacred museum.
Don't touch.
And all I wanted to do was just drink out of some cups that look cool. That's all that's
right?
it. And I'm telling you, it was like, don't touch anything in the china cabinet.
Yes.
And I kid you not, this is hysterical to me. When I got married the first time, my then new wife bought my mom a little cupcake with a little Hawaiian figurine on it. My mother thought it was so cute. She put it in the china cabinet.
And
I swear to God, 25 years later, that cupcake was still in there. I was like, are you kidding me?
You can throw the baby out with the bathwater now.
Exactly. the hell, I was divorced like 10 years earlier or something. I'm like, you still have that thing? Oh, that was hysterical.
Yeah.
So I make it a point, like if I'm making myself margaritas or whatever, I'm using my cool margarita glasses that I have when I use for gatherings.
Yes.
And I use my cool plates, and I take picture of my food. That's weird.
Doesn't everybody?
I don't. Well,
drop us a comment.
Well, you know what? This is my you can drop us a comment.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you my ritual, and I think personally, I think it's beautiful, and I love to do it. So when I'm cooking, and I like to cook, what do? I can listen to a motivational thing or something, but you can't read or anything because you're cooking, right?
Yes.
So and I don't watch TV like that. So what I like to do is I'll sometimes just pick a person and I'll call them. Hey, what are you up to? Oh, nothing. I was just hanging out. And I'll start a conversation. And now while I'm cooking, they'll hear noise. I'll say, well, by the way, I am cooking right now. But after we have a great conversation, maybe we had a glass of wine between us, right?
Yes.
Then I will send them a picture of the meal that I prepared. I say, this is your plates. Thank you so much for helping me cook. You were like my sous chef today.
Yes. Yes. Aw, I love that.
Yeah. So one day you'll have to help me virtually cook.
Yes, absolutely.
Mix it up. Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure. And it's funny that you say that because my mom, we just had this conversation. She's the same. She has that china cabinet, and the nice china and the silver only comes out on Thanksgiving and Christmas. And, but I just learned that I buy those things and they're nice things. And I think I do Deepak Chopra, his 21-day meditations, and he talks about luxury. And self-care is about, it doesn't have to be expensive. It's about a drop of lavender in your bathwater.
Sure.
It's just about letting yourself know and telling yourself that you are worthy.
Exactly.
That you are enough. That you love this. You love this skin, this skin suit that we're here in, and the journey that we're on, and that you're finding gratitude in those little things.
Yeah.
I find luxury in watching a squirrel tear apart a nut. I'm like, man, that's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's a million to choose from. Why did you choose that one?
Right. Well, going back to this notion of self-care, the lavender in your bath water, the use of fine china when you're eating alone, the time to make your plate look pretty rather than just throw it together. There's a psychology behind that really does affect and impact you. It's the same reason you spread your bed in the morning and not leave it a mess. You may be the only one that lives there. But when you come back home, there's a sense of orderliness, but there's a sense of you are worthy. When you send the universe a message that you are worthy, you're worthy of this fine china, you're worthy of this nice, delicious meal, whatever. You send that message and it starts to resonate outwards, and it starts affecting how your view of self and your value of self is expanding in the space that you occupy. And that's when things start to also resonate. That's when you go into alignment to a greater degree.
And more on that, on raising your vibration and the alignment, when we come back from this short break.
Aren't you tired of not getting what you want in bed?
Are you ready to spice things up behind those closed doors?
Woo! We're here for you every hump day at 7 p.m.
This is Sex on the Edge with Jen and Hen. I'm Jennifer Reeves.
And I'm Hendrik Scott, and we are professional licensed sex therapists.
So remember to watch us Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Edge Radio TV, just in time for sexy time.
Welcome back, my edgy entrepreneurs. You're watching the Edge Radio Network. My name is Jenn Colmenares on the Edgy Entrepreneur Show. And my guest, Oscar Hines, the man, the myth, the legend behind Edge Radio itself.
Oh, boy.
So,
it's a community. It's a community. I love it.
It is a community.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And that is the beauty in it, is that everybody is here to raise the vibration.
That's right.
Which is kind of where we left off on our last segment, using that lavender oil, using those china dishes, using that nice silver, just enjoying the luxuries of life, and how doing that is going to raise your vibration.
That's right. I love the 80-year-old rocking chair test to keep us present. So you're now 80 years old. Your entire life is behind you, and you're rocking in your chair looking out into the beyond, and you're asking yourself, did I live a worthy life? Did I take the chances I wanted? Did I do the things that I came here to do? And when we put ourselves in that mindset, if we didn't, then we're going to expire from this experience without having impacted enough people or done enough things. And what a waste when, like you said at the opening, we all come here with gifts.
Yeah.
And our goal, our job, our mission is to share those gifts with the world. And to the degree that we do that, we change the world a little bit every single time.
So true. So true. Our impact that we have on people around us that you don't even realize. And it really does. It starts with those little things and with raising your vibration,
Yes,
so that you can be giving from a full cup, and you are overflowing your vibration onto those around you.
Mm-hmm. And when you're full in that way and you're giving, the thing is the cup continues to replenish itself. You don't get empty because you're full of that joy, you're full of that energy, and you are fed by the giving of that gift.
Yes.
You know, they say the best way to keep the truth is try to give it away, you know. Yeah. And if you give it away enough, it becomes so intrinsic to who you are. It's in your DNA. And I think that at some level, when we start having genuine conversations, genuine encounters, looking to really solve people's problems in the entrepreneurial space, because that's all it is, it's an exchange of value.
Yes.
Someone has a problem, you have a solution. Now, how do we get the two to meet? And that's the exchange of value. You get money for the problem you solve for your client, customer, patient, whomever. So it's really a beautiful dance. And I think sometimes we get stuck in our own head, and then those voices that we were talking about earlier, they start to take over and they consume us. They envelop us into darkness.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a couple of books out there, but The Dark Night of the Soul is this idea that you are in the darkest part of your life and that nothing will ever be. But remember that old phrase, it's always darkest before the dawn?
Yes.
I know as a born again insomniac, I sleep when my body finally shuts down, mm-hmm. but I guess I really, and I know it sounds, I don't really need as much sleep as other people because I function pretty highly without it.
Right.
But that notwithstanding, you get up at around 5 a.m. maybe at 4:30. It is really pitch black.
Yeah.
It's darker than it was at midnight.
Yeah.
And most people don't realize it's because the rock, you know, we're the third rock from the sun. We're spinning around and we're coming around, and it's we're the furthest point away just before, you know, we the dawn comes.
The dawn comes.
And that's the metaphor for life. Sometimes when you go through the dark soul of the night, and you come out and you emerge on the other side, you're like, wow, that was a hell of an experience, but I made it. And then you have a sense of accomplishment. That's what Facebook is all about. Every day I see people celebrating themselves. Oh, look, I won this award. Oh, look, I got nominated here. Oh, I'm so proud to be blah, blah, blah. Hey, it's my birthday. It's my birthday. Give me likes. It's a little pathetic. And I hate to be that guy, but I'm just saying it is a little pathetic. But that's all you see. Yeah. But part of that is that the dopamine kicks in, the endorphins kick in when somebody's getting likes and views and whatever else.
Yes.
You know, so is it a little self-serving? Yeah, but is it necessary to some degree to preserve your self-esteem and your sense of self and your reaffirmation that you are on this journey, this entrepreneurial venture, whatever it is, this thing called life.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is a journey, and it's an interesting, I guess, life after middle school and life after high school even. Mm-hmm. And I say that because, you know, we're talking about listening to other people, and why are you going to let them deter you from your path and using your gift? And most of the time, they're going to be people that aren't willing to invest in themselves. They're pulling you back because they're scared. They don't want to see you, you know, succeed. They don't know what that success looks like. Mm-hmm. You know, it might take you away from them because you're going to level up. You're not going to be the same person.
Yeah.
But you can. I mean, I think some of us get so insecure at that thought that I can't get better because I don't want to leave these people behind. One, cut them loose, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're dragging you down, cut them loose. But here's another thing that I don't think that people realize is that your superpower in owning that journey that you're on is you're going to raise and bring those people up around you.
Absolutely.
And that is really what's so powerful. And that's why it is such a hard journey, because you're going to be lonely. It's going to be you and the top of the mountain for a ways until you really embrace who you are and own that future self that you're becoming and find your tribe.
That's right. That's absolutely right. You know, in the book, As a Man Thinketh, there's a clever little line. It's a very short, quick read. It's one I think everybody should have. You can get it online. It's free. As a Man Thinketh.
I'll put it in the comments below.
Yes, yes. Well, they say that and they say a man, but woman obviously.
I'll own it. I'm not tough.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So as a man grows, he starts to move through a rapid series of vicissitudes, and he removes old jackets and old coverings and reveals the divine self that lies just beneath the surface. And what I love about that is that a rapid series of vicissitudes is just like, if you think about the film, the pictures that move by frame. It's like a lot of series of different things, just different stills that are going by. But it's a transformative thing, and you move through it very quickly because there's an end in mind. And when people are tethering you, you have to release those tethers.
Yes.
Now, sometimes you drag them up screaming and scratching and pulling against you because they're your kindred, your kin. Other times you just let them go. And then they'll come back at another time when you're more evolved, and they'll be like, oh, because that's happened with me. People have come back and they're like, wow, you did exactly what you said. Wow.
Yes.
What a concept, right?
Yeah.
You could have helped. Now you're back.
Well, yeah. Or not even helped, but it's one of those. I'm like, you want to bring your friends along, but you know what? I'm like, I can't drag you where you don't want to go. And I can't open your eyes. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And that's so true. I'm like, so many times people have come back around and, oh, you did do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Exactly. Oh,
I did.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And I think at the end of the day, when we really kind of put a bow on the pursuit of happiness, we have to say to ourselves, it's a subjective experience, but it's our experience, and we're taking ownership of it. We're proud of what it is and where it's going, and we're unapologetic.
Yes.
And the older you get in life, the more you realize you really shouldn't give a damn about what anybody thinks, because at the end of the day, they don't really care.
No.
You just spent your whole life worrying about what other people think, and they don't care.
That is so true. And so true. And you hear it all the time. Like somebody yesterday, like, oh, I love your necklace. Oh, thanks. I put it here because I'm covering up the lipstick that got on the inside of my shirt. And I'm like, girl, I never would have known that if you wouldn't have told me that.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're right. I'm like, we're so absorbed in our own little universe that unless you pull me into yours, I'm totally self-absorbed.
That's right.
So unless I'm going out and telling people, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm going, this is what my passion is, and following that pursuit so that I can, one, gain the confidence and know who I am and get clarity on that, in that courage and in that pursuit, but then to understand really where those people are limiting and how they're holding you back.
That's right. In
doing that, you're showing them. I mean, you're shining a light on those that you love that are in that dark hallway.
Yes. That
are hanging out in the dark, that still have all those layers on because they're stuck in the only way that they know that the world functions.
Exactly.
In this reality.
Exactly. And they're trapped in that space.
Yes.
And it's the classic "Who moved my cheese?" The idea that some people hold on to that old moldy cheese, and that's all they know, and they won't ever venture out to find new cheese, so to speak. And that's really what, at the core, an entrepreneur has to also be a hunter and be fearless as a hunter. Even when it hurts, you just keep going because you get past it, So I mean, I love the topic. I think that this idea of pursuing happiness is central and core to everybody's nature, and sharing their gifts is central and core to their nature.
Absolutely. So you guys, if worry has held you back, if those people in your life are pulling you down, let's have a conversation. You can find me on JennColmenares.com or the Edgy Entrepreneur.